Hello, good morning. Today we will discuss about the development of lung and pleura. So this is our blastocyst. So within the blastocyst, this is the amniotic cavity, and this is the secondary walk sac. In between this amniotic cavity and secondary walk sac, this is the trilaminar jamdix. So here, this is the blastocyst. This is the blastocyst. So here also this is the blastocyst. Amniotic cavity, secondary walk sac, then trilaminar jamdix. In this trilaminar jamdix, this is the ectoderm, this is the endoderm, and this is the lateral plate mesoderm, this is the neural tube, lateral plate mesoderm or susapate, and there is a cavity. This cavity is called intraembryonic xylem. This intraembryonic xylem communicates with the opposite half. So this intraembryonic xylem separates this lateral plate mesoderm into somatopleuric. This is somatopleuric, and this one is splanchopleuric intraembryonic mesoderm. So this intraembryonic xylem, this midline part will be the fusor pericardial cavity, and this posterolateral is open. It will form the peritoneal cavity at the end of the lateral folding, and this connection is the pericardio-peritoneal canal. This is right sided and this is left sided pericardio-peritoneal canal. So after folding, this is the blastocyst. So after folding, this is called craniocaudal folding, head tail folding, and this is lateral folding. So I am holding the secondary walk sac. So here you see, this is the amniotic cavity. This one amniotic cavity. Then this is the secondary walk sac. This one is the secondary walk sac. This one secondary walk sac, and this is the trilaminar jamdix. This is trilaminar jamdix. I mean, this blue one is the ectoderm. So here, this blue one is the ectoderm. Then this yellow one is the endoderm. So in between this ectoderm and endoderm, so this is the lateral plate mesoderm. This one is the lateral plate mesoderm. So within this lateral plate mesoderm, this is the cavity. This cavity is called intraembryonic xylem. So this is the cranial and this is the caudal. So the difference between this cranial and caudal intraembryonic xylem, in the cranial side, you see this intraembryonic xylem is not opening laterally. But in the caudal side, this intraembryonic xylem is opening laterally to the extraembryonic xylem. This is the opening. This is the most critical part to understand. This is the opening of the intraembryonic xylem into the extraembryonic xylem. So here, this is the extraembryonic xylem. So this intraembryonic xylem within the lateral plate mesoderm. This is the opening. This side, right opening, and this is the left opening. So this is the opening. Opening of this intraembryonic xylem posterolaterally. So this is the opening to the extraembryonic xylem. Okay. So now see, this is the intraembryonic xylem. So cranially, this is the pericardial cavity. So first of all, this pericardial cavity, I mean the midline part of the intraembryonic xylem was most cranial, but at the end of the craniocaudal folding, this pericardial cavity is coming anterior to this gut. So this is the foregut. This is the foregut. So this opening is through this oropharyngeal membrane. This is the oropharyngeal membrane. So this secondary walk sac is pinched or enclosed or incorporated. This secondary walk sac is pinched or incorporated at the end of the craniocaudal and lateral folding. So this is the pericardio-peritoneal canal. So right and left pericardio-peritoneal canal. So it is communicating cranially with the pericardial cavity. This is the pericardial cavity, and this pericardio-peritoneal canal (PPC) is communicating posteriorly in the caudal half of this coronal section of this blastocyst. So this intraembryonic cilium in the caudal half will fuse with the opposite side, forming the peritoneal cavity. So here also, where you see, this is the sagittal section of this blastocyst at the end of the craniocaudal and lateral folding. So this is the sagittal section, this is the amniotic cavity, and this is the secondary walk sac, which is pinched. So after pinching or incorporation, so this is the foregut. This part is the foregut up to the oropharyngeal membrane. This part will be the midgut, and this part will be the hindgut. Okay. So this is the pericardio-peritoneal canal. It is opening to the pericardial cavity. So this is the midline part of this intraembryonic cilium, which is known as the pericardial cavity. So this is pericardio-peritoneal canal, and in the caudal half there will be peritoneal canal at the end of the lateral folding. Now you see, this is the diagram. Please focus it. So this is the diagram. This is the lateral plate mesoderm. Containing the intraembryonic cilium. This is the cranial part, and this is the right and left intraembryonic cilium. So at the end of the lateral folding, this posterior part will fuse together, forming the peritoneal cavity. So this is the peritoneal cavity. Now see this one also. So this is the gut system. So please here focus it. So this is the gut system. Already we have discussed this one. This is the foregut, midgut, and hindgut, and this is the walk sac. Foregut, the midgut, hindgut, the pituitary duct, and this is the secondary walk sac. So this is the oropharyngeal membrane and the cloacal membrane. So here you see. So this is the diagram. Please focus it. Yes. So here this is the foregut. This is the pericardial cavity, septum transversum, and this is the pituitary duct, hindgut, and this is the pericardio-peritoneal canal. So in this diagram, it is very difficult to understand. So only the left half of this pericardio-peritoneal canal is connecting to the intraembryonic cilium. So here, this is the pericardial cavity. This is the PPC, pericardio-peritoneal canal. Both sides, right and left pericardio-peritoneal canal. This is the foregut. Just lateral to this foregut, this is the right, and this is the left pericardio-peritoneal canal. So this left pericardio-peritoneal canal is communicating with the intraembryonic cilium within the lateral plate mesoderm, and this is the right half. Right half of this intraembryonic cilium communicating with the pericardial cavity. So this right pericardioperitoneal canal. So now if we cut at this level, if we cut at this level, we will find this section, this diagram. Please focus it. So this is the foregut and entirely pericardial cavity. This is the, if we cut this level, so entirely this is the pericardial cavity entirely, and posteriorly foregut. Posteriorly this is foregut, posteriorly foregut. Then just lateral to this foregut, the right and left pericardioperitoneal canal. So you have this one. This is the right and left pericardioperitoneal canal. So this pericardioperitoneal canal communicating with the pericardial cavity. This dot mark, this dotted mark. So this is the communicating. This pericardioperitoneal canal is communicating with the peritoneal cavity. Next, B diagram. This B. So from this foregut, there will be a. Suppose this is the foregut. This is the foregut. So from this foregut, there will be a diverticulum. So this is called diverticulum. This is the diverticulum from the foregut. So this is called respiratory diverticulum. As per this diagram, this is the respiratory diverticulum. This one is tracheobronchial groove. First of all, it is called tracheal groove. This is the pharyngeal arch. This is the pharyngeal arch. First, second, third, fourth, and sixth. So this is the tracheal groove. This one is the tracheal groove. So from this tracheal groove, this is the diverticulum. This is called tracheobronchial groove, and from this tracheobronchial groove, there will be the diverticulum. This is called respiratory diverticulum. So from this respiratory diverticulum, there will be formation of the trachea and lung bud. Okay. Now please focus it. So this lung bud, this trachea will be divided into right and left main bronchus. This trachea is divided into bifurcating into right and left main bronchus, and this main bronchus will go for division. So before birth there will be 17 times division, and after birth there will be 6 more divisions. So this is the bifurcation of the main bronchus. Okay. Now come to the formation of this pleural cavity. So please focus the B diagram, which is foregut posteriorly, and in the right and left pericardioperitoneal canal. So in the next C diagram, this pericardioperitoneal canal will be invaginated. Please focus this one. So this is called invagination of pericardioperitoneal canals by the lung buds. So this is the model. As per this diagram, this is the esophagus. This is the foregut. Please focus it. This is the foregut. So from this foregut there will be the tracheobronchial diverticulum. So then there will be development of this lung bud. This is the lung bud. So this lung bud is invaginating to this PPC, pericardioperitoneal canal. Okay. So this is the PPC, pericardioperitoneal canal. Okay. Peritoneal. So this PPC, pericardioperitoneal, will be invaginated by this lung bud. Okay. So now this is the position. Please focus it. So this is called invagination. First of all, it is a tubular. Pericardioperitoneal is tubular, but due to the development of this lung bud, there will be invagination. So this is the invagination of the PPC, pericardioperitoneal canal. So now see this inner half of this pericardioperitoneal canal, and this is the outer half of the pericardioperitoneal canal. So this one is also known as somatopleuric intraembryonic mesoderm, and this part is the splanchopleuric intraembryonic mesoderm. So this is called visceral it will become visceral pleura, and this outer half will become parietal pleura. Okay, so this visceral part or visceral pleura, or it is also known as pulmonary pleura, will be adherent to the lung tissue or lung bud. Okay, and this outer part somatopleuric part will become the parietal pleura, which will be adherent with the thoracic wall. So this will be the pain sensitive, and this part will be pain insensitive. So this is about the development of this pleura or pleural cavity. And at the end of this development, the upper part of this pericardio-peritoneal canal will be closed by a membrane or fold. That is the, please focus it. Yes, this is the left half of this pericardio-peritoneal canal, which is connecting the cranial pericardial cavity with the caudal peritoneal cavity. So this is the left half of the pericardio-peritoneal canal. So cranially, this pericardio-peritoneal canal will be closed by a membrane that is called pericardio-peritoneal membrane or fold. This is called pericardio-pleural membrane. Pericardio-pleural membrane or fold will close the cranial or upper side of this pleural cavity from the pericardial cavity. So caudally this pleural cavity or pericardio-peritoneal canal will be closed entirely by this septum transversum, diaphragm, and posteriorly by this pleuroperitoneal membrane. This is the pleuroperitoneal membrane. Okay. So this one is the coronal section. This is the coronal section. The pleural cavity is the heart within the pericardial cavity, and this is the lower connection of this pleural cavity, which is blocked by this pleuroperitoneal membrane. Then outer part is by the contribution from the body wall. Okay, and the central part is the septum transversum. So this is about the development of the lung and pleura.